Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Today we're going to do the XRP end of the year prediction, and we're going to actually adjust it based on how the markets are doing, how Ripple is actually doing, and how XRP is doing. We're about 2/3 of the way through the year. We've got 4 months left. We've been through 8 months, so we can get a kind of a feel for how the market's acting, where it's actually going, and how XRP and Ripple are doing themselves. Now, XRP and Ripple are two different things. And Ripple's been trying to kind of get that fact through for a long time. So what's good for Ripple may actually not be good for XRP, at least not in the immediate future. So this prediction is going to be based on a lot of things. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's too positive because Ripple's been going straight down and we don't really see anything coming back up. All right, fair point. But I do think the market is actually going to get better towards the end of the year. So I don't think the prediction's too positive. On the other hand, a lot of people are going like, you don't know what you're talking about. XRP is going to go to $50 or $100 by the end of this year. And no, it's really not. So I don't really see anything that would actually push it up that far. This is exactly what just about everyone said at this time last year, and it ended up at like 35 cents. So you got to like actually tone those expectations down to reality. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say my prediction. I think it's probably going to be around 45 cents by the end of the year. Maybe like slightly lower at 38, 39. Somewhere between 39 and 45 would be my guess. And I think there's more chance that it's actually below that than above that. And I'll explain why. Now, swell is coming up in November, and I do expect a swell pump. And swell is towards the end of the year, in the beginning of November. So there actually might be a pump towards swell. And at the end of the year, it might not have died down. So it might be at that heightened level. Remember, after swell last year, XRP was at a heightened level until after December 31st. It really didn't start tanking until the new year. And then it just started, like, basically, with respect to Bitcoin, it basically tanked right down. So we might kind of get the same pattern this year, especially if they have a really exciting announcement at swell. I'm also basing this on the fact that Garlinghouse said, hopefully we'll have $1 billion in volume in XRapid by the end of 2020. Now, a lot of people are saying that's only MoneyGram, that's only MoneyGram volume, or he didn't include MoneyGram in that, but he didn't actually preface that with anything else. He just said $20 billion in volume by 2020 for XRapid. So I'm guessing that's probably total volume because he didn't really clarify. And a lot of people actually, I think most people do expect that to be the total volume, because if it was daily volume, that would be something somewhat to brag about, and I think he would have clarified daily volume. $1 billion total volume is about $2 or $3 million daily volume, and that's not really going to move price any, even at the end of 2020. But if you really think about it, if you look at that one guy who wrote like an algorithm to determine which TXs are XRapids, you're talking about thousands per day right now, or at most tens of thousands per day for XRapid volume right now. And at 2 or 3 million a day, you're basically increasing it 100x by the end of next year, which in itself would be great growth. Maybe not enough for some of the Moon Boys, but still pretty good growth, like 100 times per day at the end of next year than what it is now. But the problem is you have so little transactions right now that even 100x won't really inspire growth at that point. But it will be some like good volume going through XRapid each day by the end of 2020, just not enough to affect price. And if it's not enough utilities not enough to affect price by the end of 2020, then it won't be enough to affect price at the end of 2019, obviously. And that's what we're predicting, the price at the end of 2019 in 4 months. There are probably some exciting announcements coming up at swell. We don't know what. There's the Ripple like R3 like possible acquisition. Although I think that has probably something to do with with smart contracts than Ripple just outright buying R3. The thing is, even if they do, that will definitely pump the price up on the news for a while. But then if the XRapid ledger doesn't show the volume to hold that price, which it probably won't, then the price will slowly go back down, probably like in a month or two or after the new year. So I do expect a slightly heightened price because of swell, and also because of Bitcoin, I believe, is going to be significantly higher than it is right now at the end of the year. I still think 15 or 16,000 is a pretty good point for Bitcoin at the end of the year, and that's going to pull everything up. That by itself will probably pull XRP up to about 32, 33 cents. or 34 cents, plus the swell stuff, you can see it like slightly past 40 cents, like somewhere between 39 and 45, I think is a pretty good value. And that actually represents about, if you buy in right now at 26 cents, that actually represents about, I would say, like almost a 60% increase in your value. So even if everything else does go up more, which I think it actually will, XRP should appreciate by the end. Should actually slowly appreciate in price by about 60% throughout the end of the year on December 31st, 2019. The issue is you might not feel like that's great because it came down from like $3, and even if at 60 cents, it'll still grow less than most of the other altcoins throughout the course of the year. But if you just take a perspective, like if you're a new buyer buying in now, that's still a 60% increase. Will other coins outgain it? Yeah, possibly, and a lot of coins will probably outgain it. But if you're just looking in terms of USD investment itself, 60% gain in a couple of months is pretty good. So that's my view on it right now. Also, like there's a lot of excitement. There's some people thinking that just because Ripple is responding to their lawsuit with whoever the hell is suing them next week, they think that that means the SEC is going to have a clear up. And of course, that panel has people excited about SEC is finally going to clear up that XRP is not a security. I highly doubt they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to declare it a security or not a security. They're going to wait for the federal ruling, and that's going to drag out for a year or two at least, is my opinion, because these things don't come slow, and I don't think they're going to get the case dismissed right now. I think Garlinghouse is obviously being like super optimistic and saying that they're going to get the case dismissed. But based on the SEC guidance, which isn't law, but the courts are actually going to draw on that, I think they're going to have to go into a discovery phase and research all of that stuff, and it's going to take a while. There is also the Token Taxonomy Act, but that isn't even out of committee yet. So there's probably zero chance that that gets passed by the end of the year. So based on those two things, I don't think regulation in the United States at least is going to push XRP up in price. There's also the problem with custody solutions. And even if the regulation stuff does get through the US, I don't think that's instantly going to push XRP up in price. You have to look at the fact that Japan already has regulations for XRP. Brazil has basically said XRP can be used for payments. The UK has regulations for XRP. So there's quite a few countries right now that do have crypto regulation. And those countries aren't really jumping completely just like, tripping over themselves hand and foot to jump onto any kind of cryptocurrency payment to replace their old banking system. So I think people are overestimating like how fast things will actually latch on after regulations get through. And I think people are just really optimistically hoping that regulations is like the magic key to everything. It might be a part of the puzzle, but it's definitely not the only thing that's holding the adoption of Ripple or XRP or cryptocurrencies in general up. There's a lot of the banking system that is actually against cryptocurrencies, and you're going to have to slowly fight that. This is going to be a multi-year process, no matter which way you look at it. And I think if you're looking for any big appreciation due to utility, you're going to be waiting at least until 2022, 2023 for utility to push the price up. And then it's probably going to go up slowly. They're not going to just like push a button one night and switch it on. That's like one of the most retarded technical implementations you could possibly do. You always switch things on and roll out slowly for these big implementations, especially if it has to do with the world's finances. So the thing is, like 4 months right now from now to the end of the year might sound like an eternity in crypto. But right now, I don't see anything exciting that just blows the waters apart. And at the end of this year, I still think we're going to be around somewhere between 39 and 45 cents at the end of the year. And that's my prediction for XRP for the end of the year. Thank you and have a nice day.